Hey y'all, it's Stephanie Andrea here, and I have my sister
Shelly
with me. And today we're going to talk about our natural hair mistakes. But before we get into that, we're going to tell you a little bit about our relationship and our hair for any of you who are curious. So we are full-blooded sisters, so we had the same mom and dad. And she big chopped twice, and I transitioned. Also, the differences in our hair is I'm split between 3C, 4A, and
I'm predominantly 4A.
And she tends to experience more shrinkage than
I
do.
More shrinkage.
Yeah, so if you could pull your hair down just to show them how long your hair is. Yeah, so when was the last time you big chopped?
I want to say it was beginning of May of 2012.
Yeah, so her hair has grown out quite a bit. And we'll get into the video. Number one hair mistake that we both have done is color. So if you could explain your color experience.
When I first went natural, I big chop, and I wanted to play with my hair a lot to make my hair more fun. So I dyed it copper, I dyed it blonde, I dyed it red. And it just ended up getting really brittle and had really damaged ends over time. So I ended up having to do another big chop a little bit over a year later. So I ended up having to start my hair journey again. When I did that, I dyed it brown. And as it grew out, I just kind of noticed how my ends were a little bit more crunchy than the roots. So I ended up eventually cutting that off. And I just decided that color just doesn't agree with my hair very well. So I'll just grow it out in this natural color from now on.
And as far as me, the color mistake that I made, I explained in my recovering from heat and colors damage video, but that I got the top of my hair bleached. It was about the front V of my hair bleached, and my hair pretty much was a mess. I did get it professionally done, so I mean sometimes they make mistakes too. But my hair, the color wasn't even. My curl pattern was all the way gone. It was just a complete mess. So I had to end up growing that out. And then I started to dye my hair black because I got most of the color cut off. And then I'm just like, okay, something has to give because this color is looking a mess. And I was tired of putting rinses on it to make it blend well. So I started dyeing my hair black with the permanent color, but with permanent colors, it still does take some of the color out of your hair and deposits the color. So my hair started, once the black would start to rinse out, my hair would start to turn sort of a brownish color when my hair is naturally dark brown to black. So that forced me to continue to color my hair black. So now I just use a demi-permanent when coloring my hair black. Because I do still like jet black hair, like really, really black hair, blacker than my natural hair. So I just use a demi-permanent for that. Okay, our second hair mistake is shampoo, but it's for different reasons. So if you would explain your mistake using shampoo.
From the time I went natural the second time up until probably about 6 months ago, I shampooed every single wash. And since my hair is a little bit more prone to being dry, it never really gave my hair enough time to really retain moisture in between shampoos. And it also affected my detangling process. So I started co-washing a little bit more often. So now I maybe shampoo every third or fourth time I wash my hair versus every single time. And it's helped me retain a lot more moisture. And I believe it's helping me with my with my length retention.
Okay, and as for myself, shampooing, mine is for a different reason. I didn't used to shampoo my hair enough. So I would go long periods of time without shampooing my hair and wonder why my hair was dry. And I actually ended up calling her like Shelly, my hair is so dry, like the products I was using before are not working, blah blah blah. And she just suggested that I shampoo my hair because she asked me if I should shampoo my hair. I said no. She told me that I should. I'm like, why? And she said because it'll get rid of that buildup, and then the products could actually reach your hair and penetrate your hair and moisturize it as it used to. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So after I shampooed my hair, the product was able to actually moisturize my strands because it was no longer blocked from the buildup. So now I wash my hair every wash. Now I use a non-sulfate shampoo. I use a Carol's Daughters Black Vanilla non-sulfate shampoo, which I really like. So occasionally I use a sulfate shampoo or a clarifying shampoo, Pantene Natural, the one in the brown bottle. Clarifying is my favorite. It's the bomb. I'll make a video on that later probably. But yeah, so I still shampoo my hair every wash, and she shampoos her hair every 3 to 4 washes. So that shows how shampoo, however you like it in your regimen. She doesn't like it that often. I like it all the time. So,
and neither one is better than the other one. It's just whatever works for your hair.
Yeah, so that's why when people say, this is just what works on my hair, not necessarily yours. It's the same thing here. I like to shampoo my hair every wash. She doesn't, but our hair is both fine. So, and number 3, you would like to say what your mistake was?
Senegalese twist. I wouldn't call it necessarily a mistake per se, but it is something to learn from and talk about. Because I love the way the Africans do the Senegalese twist, where they're pretty small, and then to me they just look really gorgeous, really pretty, and it's a really nice protective style. However, it will, no questions about it, thin those edges just a little bit. It does. Like, it never took my edges completely out, but before I ever started with the Senegalese twist, my edges were the same length as the rest of my hair, but now I kind of had to start it growing over, so it's a little bit shorter than the rest. So I would just say do Senegalese twist with caution. I still may get them again in the future, but usually I get them when I'm really, really tired of my hair, and I just consider a little bit of breakage in the edges just the cost of doing business.
So as far as myself, I've done Senegalese twist before my own hair. I don't do them really small because, for one, I don't have that to do. But no. So yeah, I tend to do them medium to big because I just want to I could be lazy, but yeah, pretty much. But if you do get them really small, because I've seen friends who've had braids, twists, whatever, and the twist will literally fall out their head with their hair. So, and it's around the edges, and that tends to happen when you allow your new growth to grow out too far without either taking the twists or braids out or redoing them. Because just think, if you have it on your hair, then your new growth is coming out and you just have this weight hanging on your hair. For some people, their hair is not going to hold that, and they'll eventually come out or get tender or something like that. I did have braids before, and when I took them out, my edges were a little tender, but that was it. And with the medium to large Senegalese twist, I didn't really have any problems with my edges. But I would say, if you want to get them done small, just make sure that the natural hair to weave ratio is even. That is even, really, because I've seen it where someone would have a small amount of their edges out and a ton of weave on it, and that's doing nothing but putting unneeded stress on your hair. So if you have a little bit of natural hair out, use a little bit of weave. Don't use a ton, because it is going to hurt your edges.
And that goes to make another good point. I would only recommend protective styles such as braids if you have healthy hair going into it, because it puts a lot of stress on your hair, and you want to make sure that your hair can handle the stress. If your hair isn't as healthy going in, I'll opt for another type of protective style.
Yeah, because that does put stress on your hair, especially when it starts to grow out. So be mindful of that. So number 4 is heat. As I explained in one of my videos, as I was transitioning, I was just doing my hair as I was when it was relaxed. I wasn't necessarily going natural to see my curl pattern or anything. So I just used to straighten my hair all the time. But once I ended up cutting the relaxed ends off, my hair was curly, but it's not as curly as it is now because I had heat damage. So just being mindful of how much heat you're putting on your hair is very important. Myself, next month it will be 2 years since I put heat on my hair. And I do plan on doing it next month, probably around Christmas. But yeah, and I didn't even actually mean to go 2 years. I just wanted to go a long time, possibly a year without putting heat on my hair. Then I was just like, I don't feel the need to do it, so I just never did. So yeah, just be mindful of how much heat you're putting on your hair, because I was using heat protectant too, but it still matters how often you're doing it and what heat you're doing it on, because I was doing it on like 410.
And I used to tell, I'd be like, Stephanie, you might want to see if you can turn it down. She'd be like, no, I want my hair to be straight, honey.
Pretty much. So yeah, and that got straight damaged. So yeah.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, you just live and you learn. Is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing we have is
using a pick with seams. When my hair was shorter, I cut it into a really short afro, a teeny weeny afro. So as it grew out, when I got into the awkward stage, I had to use picks almost every day to kind of shape it in a way that would look right. So at the time, I was using a pick like this, which I believe is okay to use occasionally.
That's the pick that I use. I don't use it all the time, but yeah.
And it's okay to use occasionally, but I was using it every day, several times a day, to shape my hair, especially after working out. And if you notice, like along the inside of the comb, you can literally feel the seams. Like this one.
Of when they molded the two sides together in the plant. So they had one side, they had another side, they put them together, and you could feel the seams.
And this one that I'm feeling now isn't as bad as the one I used to have at home. The one I used to have at home, you could literally feel the seams in there. So think about it. Every time I was picking my hair out, it's literally ripping your hair, especially with my hair being fragile in the first place. So as my hair grew out, I was like, why is my hair damaged? I've been doing everything right, conditioning as I should. And I noticed that it was in the shaft of the hair where I was getting a lot of damage. So I eventually had to cut all of that off. So instead of using this, I just opted to use something like this with metal. So this doesn't have any seams. So this is way more safe to use. Not only use it on occasion. I use my fingers most of the time. But when I do, if I am going somewhere special, I will use this.
So those are pretty much all of our natural hair mistakes that we could think of.
Well, some of them. There's probably more that we'll probably come back next year and do another video.
But yeah, so that's all that we have for today. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, please leave that down below.
What mistakes have you guys made?
Yeah, let us know what mistakes you made, because I mean, this is where we want to help each other, and people can learn from our mistakes and other people can learn from your mistakes. So let us know what your natural hair mistakes are, and please subscribe, like this video so that other people can see it. And thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.